The secret I am about to share with you tonight has transformed countless lives, and it will transform yours if you will but listen with an open heart and an awakened mind. What you really want is not separate from you. It is not something you must chase, pursue, or earn through struggle and hardship. What you really want already exists within you as a seed of possibility, waiting only for the proper soil of your consciousness to bring it forth into your physical world. You see, most people approach manifestation backwards. They look at their current circumstances and try to figure out how to change them through physical action alone. They exhaust themselves in endless doing, never realizing that all creation begins in consciousness, in the invisible realm of imagination and feeling. They work from the outside in, when the true secret is to work from the inside out. The truth I want you to grasp tonight is this: your imagination is the workshop of God within you. It is not merely a faculty for daydreaming or idle fantasy. Your imagination is the creative power of the universe expressing itself through you. When you learn to use your imagination correctly, you become the author of your own experience, the sculptor of your own destiny. But here is where most people stumble. They confuse imagination with wishful thinking. They confuse hope with faith. They confuse wanting with having. These are not the same thing. And understanding the difference is crucial to your success in manifesting what you really want. Wishful thinking says, I hope this will happen. Faith says that is already done. Hope looks to the future with uncertainty. Faith accepts the present reality of your desire fulfilled. Wanting acknowledges the absence of what you desire. Having assumes its presence and reality now. Tonight, I want you to understand that what you really want is not something you need to get. It is something you need to accept. It is not something you need to become. It is something you need to recognize you already are. The kingdom of heaven, the realm where all desires are already fulfilled, is within you. It has always been within you, waiting for you to enter and claim your inheritance. Let me share with you the fundamental principle upon which all manifestation rests. It is this: consciousness is the only reality, and what you are conscious of being, you become. Your consciousness is not confined to your physical body or your present circumstances. Your consciousness is infinite, limitless, and it has the power to assume any state of being you choose. When you truly understand this principle, you realize that manifestation is not about convincing the universe to give you what you want. It is about assuming the consciousness of already having what you want and living from that assumption until it hardens into fact in your physical world. This brings us to the technique that will change your life if you will apply it faithfully. I want you to learn the art of assumption. Assumption is the technique of assuming the feeling of your wish fulfilled and persisting in that assumption until it becomes your dominant state of consciousness. Here is how you begin. First, you must become crystal clear about what you really want. Not what you think you should want. Not what others expect you to want. But what you truly desire from the depths of your being. Be specific. Be definite. Vague desires produce vague results. Once you know what you want, you must construct a scene in your imagination that implies your desire is already fulfilled. This scene should capture the essence of having what you want. It should trigger the feeling of satisfaction, gratitude, and fulfillment that you would experience if your desire were already yours. The key to success lies not in the vividness of your visualization, though that helps, but in the feeling it generates within you. You must feel the reality of your imagined scene. You must make it real to yourself through the intensity of your feeling. Feeling is the secret to all manifestation, for feeling is the language that your subconscious mind understands. Your subconscious mind cannot distinguish between what is real and what is vividly imagined with feeling. When you consistently imagine yourself in a state of your wish fulfilled and feel the reality of that state, your subconscious mind accepts it as fact and begins to reorganize your world to match your assumption. But here is where persistence becomes crucial. You cannot assume your desire fulfilled once or twice and then return to your old state of consciousness. You must persist in your assumption. You must live from your desired state consistently until it becomes natural to you, until it becomes your dominant mood and attitude. Most people give up too soon. They assume their wish fulfilled for a few days or weeks. And when they do not see immediate physical evidence, they abandon their assumption and return to their former state of lack and limitation. This is why they fail to manifest what they really want. Remember this, there is always a time lag between assumption and manifestation. Just as there is a gestation period between conception and birth. In the physical world, there is an interval between the moment you assume your wish fulfilled and the moment it appears in your physical experience. During this interval, you must maintain your assumption with unwavering faith. Faith is not blind belief in something you hope might happen. Faith is the conscious assumption of your wish already fulfilled, maintained in the face of contradictory evidence from your senses. Faith says, though I do not yet see it with my physical eyes, I know it is mine because I have assumed it in consciousness. This is where most people stumble. They allow their senses to dictate their assumption. They look at their current circumstances and use them as evidence that their desire is not fulfilled. This is backwards thinking. Your senses report the past, not the future. They show you what was, not what is becoming. When you understand that your current circumstances are the result of your past assumptions, you realize that they have no power to prevent your new assumption from manifesting. Your circumstances are not fixed. They are fluid, changeable, and completely subject to your consciousness. The moment you assume your wish fulfilled and maintain that assumption, you have planted a seed in the soil of consciousness. That seed will grow and eventually produce fruit in your physical world, but only if you do not dig it up with doubt and negative assumption. Let me tell you about the power of revision. If during your day you find yourself slipping back into your old state of consciousness, do not condemn yourself. Simply revise the experience. Go to your imagination and replay the scene as you wish it had been. See yourself responding from your desired state instead of your former state of lack. Revision is one of the most powerful techniques you can master because it allows you to change the meaning and emotional impact of any experience. When you revise an experience in your imagination, you change its influence on your subconscious mind and therefore on your future experiences. Every night before you sleep, review your day and revise any scenes that do not conform to your desire fulfilled. This practice will gradually transform your subconscious mind and align your entire being with your desired state of consciousness. The state of consciousness you occupy just before sleep is particularly important because it is impressed deeply upon your subconscious mind during the sleep state. This is why I recommend that you always fall asleep in the assumption of your wish fulfilled. Let the feeling of your desire already being yours be the last thing on your mind as you drift off to sleep. During sleep, your conscious mind relaxes its control, and your subconscious mind is free to accept and act upon the impressions you have given it. If you consistently fall asleep feeling grateful for your desire fulfilled, your subconscious mind will work throughout the night to make that assumption a reality in your waking world. But manifestation is not just about technique. It is about transformation. As you persist in assuming your wish fulfilled, you will find that you begin to change from within. Your thoughts, feelings, and actions will naturally align with your new assumption. You will find yourself thinking thoughts and taking actions that support your desired reality. This is the true miracle of assumption. It does not just change your external circumstances. It changes you. It transforms you into the person who naturally has what you desire. And when you become that person in consciousness, having what you want becomes inevitable. Many people resist this transformation. They want their circumstances to change, but they want to remain the same person. This is impossible. You cannot have what you have never had by remaining who you have always been. To manifest what you really want, you must be willing to become who you need to be to have it. This does not mean you must change your personality or become someone you are not. It means you must expand your consciousness to include your desired reality. You must grow into the fullness of who you are capable of being. The person you are, when your desire is fulfilled, is not a different person. It is the complete you, the you that has always existed in potential, waiting to be realized. When you assume your wish fulfilled, you are not pretending to be someone else. You are claiming your true identity. Now let me address a common misconception. Some people think that manifestation is about getting what you want regardless of others, or at the expense of others. This is not true. When you manifest from the highest level of consciousness, what you desire serves not only you but the greater good. The desires that arise from your true self, from your divine nature, are never selfish or harmful. They are expressions of the infinite seeking to experience itself through you. When you fulfill these desires, you add to the richness and beauty of the world. If your desire seems to require the cooperation of others, do not concern yourself with how they will respond. When you assume your wish fulfilled, you automatically influence the consciousness of everyone involved in your desire. They will be inspired to play their part in the manifestation of your desire, and they will do so willingly and joyfully because it serves their highest good as well. This is the beauty of manifestation from divine consciousness. There are no losers, only winners. What you desire for yourself, you automatically desire for all humanity, because at the deepest level, we are all one consciousness expressing itself through many forms. Let me share with you the importance of gratitude in manifestation. Gratitude is not something you feel after you receive what you want. Gratitude is the feeling that magnetizes your desire to you. When you feel genuinely grateful for your desires as if it were already yours, you align yourself with the frequency of having rather than wanting. Gratitude says, I am so thankful that I already have what I desire. It does not say, I will be grateful when I receive what I want. Present tense gratitude is one of the most powerful states of consciousness you can occupy because it assumes the reality of your desire now. Spend time each day feeling grateful for your desire fulfilled. Let gratitude fill your heart and permeate your entire being. Feel the joy, the satisfaction, the peace that comes from having what you truly want. This feeling of gratitude will accelerate the manifestation of your desire beyond anything you have ever experienced. Another powerful ally in manifestation is the practice of mental dieting. Just as you are careful about what you put into your body, you must be careful about what you allow into your mind. Negative thoughts, doubts, fears, and limiting beliefs are mental junk food that pollutes your consciousness and interferes with your manifestation. Make a commitment to monitor your thoughts throughout the day. When you catch yourself thinking thoughts that contradict your desired reality, gently redirect your attention to thoughts that support it. This is not about forcing positive thinking or denying reality. It is about choosing thoughts that are aligned with the reality you want to create. Remember, every thought is a seed planted in the soil of consciousness. What kind of garden do you want to grow? Choose your thoughts as carefully as a gardener chooses seeds, knowing that what you plant today will determine what you harvest tomorrow. The power of your word is also crucial to manifestation. Your words are not just sounds that disappear into the air. They are creative forces that shape your reality. When you speak, you are literally calling things into existence. This is why you must be conscious of how you speak about yourself and your desires. Do not speak of your desire as something you want or need. Speak of it as something you have. Do not say, I want to be wealthy. Say, I am wealthy. Do not say, I hope to find love. Say, I am loved. Your words should always reflect the reality of your wish fulfilled, not the absence of it. This may feel strange at first, especially if your current circumstances contradict your words. But remember, you are not lying. You are speaking from a higher level of reality, from the consciousness where your desire is already fulfilled. As you persist in speaking this way, your words will gradually transform your experience. Let me address the question of timing, for many people become impatient when their desire does not manifest as quickly as they expect. You must understand that divine timing is perfect timing. Your desire will manifest at exactly the right moment, in exactly the right way, for your highest good. Impatience is actually a form of doubt. It says, I am not sure this is working, so I need to see results now to confirm that it will work. This attitude undermines your assumption and delays your manifestation. Trust in the process. Trust in the law. Trust in yourself. Sometimes the delay in manifestation is necessary for you to grow into the person who can handle what you desire. Sometimes it is because other elements need to align to create the perfect conditions for your desire to appear. Sometimes it is simply because you need more time to truly embody the consciousness of your wish fulfilled. Whatever the reason, accept the timing with grace and continue to persist in your assumption. Every day that passes without visible evidence is not a day of failure. It is a day of gestation, a day when your desire is growing in an invisible realm, preparing to burst forth into your visible world. The question is not whether your desire will manifest. The question is whether you will persist in your assumption long enough for it to manifest. This is entirely under your control. No external force can prevent your assumption from becoming fact if you remain faithful to it. I want you to understand that you are not at the mercy of circumstances, luck, or the whims of others. You are the operant power in your own experience. You are the author of your own story. You hold in your hands the pen with which your destiny is written. This is both the greatest privilege and the greatest responsibility you possess. You cannot blame others for your circumstances because you are the one who created them through your consciousness. But this also means you have the power to change them by changing your consciousness. Most people are unconscious creators. They create by default, allowing their subconscious assumptions to shape their reality without conscious direction. They are victims of their own unconscious patterns. But you have the opportunity to become a conscious creator, to take control of your creative power and direct it toward the fulfillment of your highest desires. The time has come for you to stop being a victim of circumstance and become the master of your fate. The time has come for you to stop waiting for someone else to give you permission to have what you want and to claim it for yourself in consciousness. What you really want is not unrealistic, impossible, or too good to be true. It is yours by divine right. It exists in consciousness, waiting for you to assume it and make it real in your physical experience. The only question is whether you will have the courage to claim it and the persistence to maintain your claim until it manifests. Tonight, as you leave this place, I want you to make a commitment to yourself. Choose one desire that you really want to manifest. Choose something that would make a significant difference in your life, something that would bring you joy, fulfillment, and a sense of purpose. Create a scene in your imagination that implies this desire is already fulfilled. Feel what it would feel like to have it now. Let that feeling fill your entire being. Then make a commitment to assume this feeling every day, especially as you fall asleep at night. Do not tell anyone what you are doing. Do not seek validation or confirmation from others. This is between you and your consciousness. Let your manifestation speak for itself when it appears in your physical world. Be prepared for your faith to be tested. Your senses will continue to report your old reality for a while. People around you may continue to see you as you are rather than as you are becoming. Do not let these temporary appearances discourage you. They are simply the echoes of your former assumptions, and they will fade as your new assumption takes hold. Remember that you are not trying to convince anyone else that your desire is fulfilled. You are only convincing yourself. And the moment you truly convince yourself, the moment you truly feel the reality of your wish fulfilled, that moment it becomes inevitable in your physical world. The law of assumption is not a theory to be debated or a philosophy to be discussed. It is a practical tool to be used. It works whether you understand how it works or not. It works whether you believe in it or not. The only requirement is that you apply it consistently and persist in your application. You have been given the greatest gift imaginable tonight. You have been shown the secret of secrets, the key that unlocks every door, the answer to every prayer. What you do with this gift is entirely up to you. You can continue to live as you have been living, accepting whatever circumstances present themselves. Or you can take control of your creative power and consciously create to truly desire. The choice is yours, and no one can make it for you. I leave you tonight with this final thought. You are not here by accident. You have been drawn to this teaching because your soul is ready to claim its inheritance. Deep within you, your true self is stirring, ready to emerge and express itself through you. What you really want is not separate from who you really are. Your desires are the voice of your divine nature, calling you to expand, to grow, to become all that you are capable of being. When you answer that call and assume the consciousness of your wish fulfilled, you do not just get what you want. you become who you truly are. The power is yours. The time is now. Go forth and create the life you truly desire, knowing that it is not only possible, but inevitable when you apply the law of assumption with faith, persistence, and love. The universe, God, the divine intelligence, whatever name you choose to give to that infinite power, does not respond to your wants. It does not respond to your needs. It does not respond to your desperate pleading or endless wishing. The universe responds only to one thing, your state of being. This is what the universe cares about. This is what determines what manifests in your life. This is the secret key that unlocks the door to your desired reality. What do I mean by your state of being? I am referring to your consciousness, your inner awareness, your concept of self. I am referring to who you believe yourself to be right now, in this very moment. Your state of being is not what you want to be, hope to be, or are striving to become. It is who you are in consciousness right now. The great mistake made by most seekers is the belief that wanting something intensely enough will cause it to manifest. But desire alone is not enough. Desire is merely the starting point, the first step on the journey. It is necessary, yes, but it is insufficient. The universe does not respond to your wanting, it responds to your being. Let me share a simple truth that may revolutionize your understanding. The universe can only give you what you are, not what you want. It reflects back to you with mathematical precision the exact nature of your consciousness. If you remain in a state of wanting, you will continue to experience want. If you remain in a state of lack, you will continue to experience lack. The outer world is merely a reflection, a mirror image of your inner world. Consider this fundamental law. Consciousness is the only reality. All things exist within consciousness. Nothing exists outside of it. The world you experience daily is not an independent reality existing apart from you. It is a manifestation of your consciousness. Every person, every event, every circumstance in your life is a shadow, an outpicturing of your state of being. I am is the self-definition of the absolute. It is the most powerful creative force in the universe. When you declare I am, you are tapping into this infinite creative power. What follows those two words shapes your reality. I am wealthy, I am loved, I am successful, I am healthy. These are not mere affirmations, they are creative acts. They define your state of being, and it is this state that the universe responds to. But here's where most go astray. They say I am wealthy while feeling poor. They say I am healthy while feeling ill. They say I am loved while feeling lonely. This internal contradiction nullifies the creative power of the words. The feeling, my dear friends, is the secret. The feeling is everything. When I speak of feeling, I do not mean emotion in the ordinary sense. I mean the conviction, the certainty, the absolute knowing that transcends all doubt. It is the feeling of the wish fulfilled. It is stepping into the consciousness of already being what you desire to be, already having what you desire to have, already experiencing what you desire to experience. This is what the universe responds to your feeling, your consciousness, your state of being. Not your wants, not your needs, not your desires, but who you are in consciousness. Let me illustrate this principle with a simple example. Imagine two individuals both desiring financial abundance. The first person wants money desperately. He thinks about it constantly, worries about bills, feels the pain of lack, and affirms daily, I want to be wealthy. The second person assumes the consciousness of wealth. She feels the naturalness of abundance, experiences gratitude for her prosperity, and lives from the state of I am wealthy. Which of these individuals do you believe will manifest financial abundance? The universe does not care about the first person's wants. It only responds to the second person's state of being. The secret then is this. Instead of focusing on what you want, focus on embodying the state of consciousness that would be yours if your desire were already fulfilled. Do not ask how this will happen. That is not your concern. The how belongs to the universe, to God, to that infinite intelligence that orchestrates the entire cosmos. Your task is simply to assume the state of the wish fulfilled and to live from that state. This is the true meaning of faith. Faith is not hoping, wishing, or believing that something might happen in the future. Faith is knowing that what you desire is already yours in consciousness, and therefore must manifest in your experience. Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. The substance, the essence, the reality of your desire exists now in your consciousness. The evidence, the outer manifestation, will inevitably follow. You see, my dear friends, creation is finished. All possible states of consciousness already exist. You do not create your desired state, you simply select it by your attention and assumption. When you assume a particular state of consciousness, you are essentially moving into a reality where your desire is already fulfilled. You are not causing something new to exist. You are simply aligning yourself with a version of reality that already contains what you desire. This is the meaning of that cryptic biblical phrase before they call, I will answer. Your desire is already fulfilled in consciousness before you even formulate it in words. The answer precedes the question. The solution precedes the problem. The fulfillment precedes the desire. All you need to do is align your consciousness with the reality where your desire is already fulfilled. Now let us delve deeper into this principle. How does one effectively shift one's state of being? How does one truly embody the consciousness of the wish fulfilled? The answer lies in the proper use of imagination. Imagination is the God power within you. It is not fantasy or daydreaming. It is the creative power of the universe expressing itself through you. Man is all imagination and God is man and exists in us and we in him. Your imagination, when properly directed, can transform your entire life experience. The technique is simple yet profound. Before sleep each night, quiet your mind and body. Relax completely. Then, in this receptive state, imagine a scene that would imply the fulfillment of your desire. Make it as vivid and as real as possible. Engage all your senses. See it, hear it, touch it, taste it, smell it. Feel the naturalness, the reality of it. Fall asleep in this state, feeling the joy of your wish fulfilled. When you do this, you are doing more than visualizing. You are entering into the state of consciousness where your desire is already a fact. You are impressing this state upon your subconscious mind, which must then express it in your outer experience. As within, so without. As above, so below. Your inner state must manifest as your outer reality. This is cosmic law. But remember, this is not a technique to be performed mechanically. It is a living experience, a shift in consciousness. The feeling is the secret. You must feel the reality of the state you are assuming. You must experience the naturalness of being the person you wish to be. This cannot be faked or forced. It must be genuine. And here is where most seekers fail. They try to force the feeling, to manufacture it artificially. But true feeling comes from understanding, from insight, from a genuine shift in consciousness. It comes from recognizing that you are not separate from your desire, that you are not reaching for something outside yourself. Your desire is already a part of you. It is already yours in consciousness. When you truly understand this, the feeling comes naturally. Now, let us address a common objection. Many will say, but I have tried this. I have imagined. I have assumed the feeling of the wish fulfilled, yet my desire has not manifested. To this I say persistence is key. Rome was not built in a day, nor is a new state of consciousness established in a single night. Your current reality is the result of your habitual state of consciousness, built up over years, perhaps decades. It took time to establish this state, and it may take time to establish a new state. Do not be discouraged by temporary failures or setbacks. Persist in your assumption. Live from the end. Maintain the feeling of the wish fulfilled, regardless of appearances. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not tarry. Another reason for apparent failure is divided attention. You cannot serve two masters. You cannot maintain the consciousness of wealth while simultaneously worrying about bills. You cannot maintain the consciousness of health while constantly checking for symptoms. You must be single-minded, focused exclusively on the state you wish to embody. If thine eye be single, thy whole body shall be full of light. The universe does not care about your conflicting desires or your wavering consciousness. It responds only to your dominant state of being. If your consciousness is divided, your manifestation will be delayed or distorted. Unify your consciousness. Be consistent in your assumption. Let nothing disturb your chosen state. Remember also that manifestation follows the path of least resistance. Your desire may come to you in ways you do not expect. Do not limit God by insisting on a particular how or when. Be open to all possibilities. Trust the wisdom of the universe to bring your desire to you in the perfect way and at the perfect time. This is what the universe cares about: your trust, your faith, your unwavering consciousness. Not your anxious wanting, not your desperate needing, but your calm, confident knowing. Let me share with you a personal experience that illustrates this principle. Many years ago, I desired to travel to New York to share these teachings, but I lacked the financial means to make the journey. Instead of focusing on my lack, instead of worrying about how I would acquire the money, I assumed the consciousness of already being in New York. Each night before sleep, I would imagine myself standing on a stage in New York, sharing these principles with an eager audience. I felt the joy, the satisfaction, the fulfillment of this experience. I lived from the end, completely ignoring the apparent impossibility of my desire. Within a week, I received an unexpected letter from a friend in New York, inviting me to speak at a gathering and enclosing sufficient funds for my journey. The universe did not respond to my want. It responded to my state of being. I had assumed the state of already being in New York, and the universe rearranged itself to make this assumption a physical fact. This is the law, my dear friends. This is how reality is created. Not by wanting, not by needing, not by struggling or striving, but by assuming the state of consciousness that would be yours if your desire were already fulfilled. Now let us explore another dimension of this principle. The universe does not just respond to your conscious assumptions. It also responds to your subconscious beliefs, your habitual patterns of thought, and feeling your deepest convictions about yourself and the world. Many of you have subconscious beliefs that contradict your conscious desires. You may consciously desire wealth, but subconsciously believe that money is scarce or that you are unworthy of abundance. You may consciously desire love, but subconsciously believe that you are unlovable, or that relationships always end in pain. These subconscious beliefs are also states of being, and the universe responds to them just as faithfully as it responds to your conscious states. In fact, your subconscious beliefs are often more powerful than your conscious desires, because they operate 24 hours a day, whereas your conscious focus is intermittent. How then do you transform these limiting subconscious beliefs? The answer lies again in proper use of imagination. Your subconscious mind cannot distinguish between a vivid imaginal experience and an actual physical experience. When you vividly imagine an event, your subconscious accepts it as real and begins to reorganize your outer world to match this inner experience. This is why the imaginal act before sleep is so powerful. In the drowsy state between waking and sleeping, your conscious mind relaxes its guard, allowing direct access to the subconscious. The impressions made during this state sink deep into the subconscious and begin to transform your entire being. But remember, the feeling is the secret. Your imaginal act must be imbued with feeling, with conviction, with the sense of reality. It is not enough to visualize, you must experience. You must feel yourself to be the person you wish to be. You must experience the reality of your desire fulfilled. This feeling impression is what transforms your subconscious and consequently your outer world. Now let us consider another aspect of this principle. The universe does not care about your past, your prehistory, your previous failures or successes. It cares only about your present state of being. Your past has no power over you except the power you give it by your consciousness of it. You can be reborn at any moment by assuming a new state of consciousness. Many of you are bound by your personal history. You define yourselves by what has happened to you, by the roles you have played, by the limitations you have accepted. But all of this exists only in your consciousness. Change your consciousness, and you change everything. You shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. The truth is that you are not your history, not your circumstances, not your body, not your personality. You are pure consciousness, pure awareness, pure I am. And this I am can assume any state, embody any quality, experience any reality that you choose to impress upon it. This is what the universe cares about your I am, your pure consciousness, unconditioned and unlimited. Not your personal history, not your accumulated beliefs, but the pure, pristine awareness that is your true self. When you truly understand this, you are free. Free from limitation, free from fear, free from doubt. Free to assume any state of consciousness, to embody any quality, to experience any reality that you desire. But this freedom comes with responsibility. You are the author of your life story. You are the creator of your experience. Every state you assume, consciously or unconsciously, shapes your reality. There is no one to blame, no one to praise but yourself. All that befalls a man, all that is done by him, all that comes from him, is a result of his state of consciousness. This is not a burden, but a blessing. It means that you have the power to transform your life completely. It means that no circumstance, no condition, no person has power over you unless you give it power by your assumption. It means that you are free, truly, completely, eternally free. Now, my dear friends, let us explore a deeper dimension of this principle. The universe does not care about your individual ego, your separate self, your personal identity. It cares about the I am, the universal consciousness that expresses itself through you but is not limited to you. Your individual personality with its likes and dislikes, its preferences and aversions, its desires and fears is merely a mask worn by the universal I am. When you say I am, you are invoking the name of God, the universal consciousness that is the only reality. This universal I am can assume any state, express any quality, experience any reality. It is unlimited, unconditioned, infinite in its potential. When you truly understand this, you realize that your desires are not merely personal wants. They are the universal I am seeking expression through your individual consciousness. Your desire for wealth is not just a personal craving for money. It is the universal abundance seeking expression through you. Your desire for love is not just a personal longing for companionship. It is the universal love seeking expression through you. Your desire for health is not just a personal wish for physical well-being. It is the universal wholeness seeking expression through you. When you align your individual consciousness with these universal qualities, you become a clear channel for their expression. You do not need to force, struggle, or strive. You simply need to assume the state of consciousness that allows these qualities to flow through you naturally and effortlessly. This is what the universe cares about: your alignment with the universal consciousness, your expression of the divine qualities that are your true nature. Not your personal striving, not your ego's agenda, but your clear and faithful expression of the universal I am. The technique, again, is simple yet profound. Recognize that the quality you desire, be it wealth, love, health, or any other, is already fully present within you as part of the universal consciousness. It is not something to be acquired from outside. It is something to be expressed from within. Assume the state of consciousness that allows this quality to express itself through you. Feel yourself to be the embodiment of this quality. Live from this assumption regardless of appearances. When you do this, you are not engaging in fantasy or self-deception. You are aligning yourself with the deepest truth of your being. You are expressing what is eternally true of you as part of the universal consciousness. You are allowing the universal to flow through the individual, the infinite to express itself through the finite. This is the true meaning of manifestation. It is not about getting what you want. It is about expressing what you are. It is not about acquiring from outside. It is about expressing from within. It is not about becoming something new. It is about revealing what is eternally true of you. My dear friends, this principle applies to every area of your life. It applies to your relationships, your career, your health, your finances, your spiritual growth. In every dimension of your experience, the universe responds not to what you want, but to what you are, to your state of being, to your consciousness, to your I am. If you desire loving relationships, embody the consciousness of love. Feel yourself to be loving and loved. Express love in every interaction, not as a technique to get love, but as a natural expression of your true nature. The universe will respond by bringing you experiences that match this consciousness of love. If you desire abundance, embody the consciousness of abundance. Feel the naturalness of having more than enough. Express generosity not as a strategy to get more, but as a natural overflow of your inner wealth. The universe will respond by bringing you experiences that match this consciousness of abundance. If you desire health and vitality, embody the consciousness of wholeness. Feel the strength, energy, and well-being that are your natural state. Express life in every movement, every breath, every cell of your body. The universe was born by bringing you experiences that match this consciousness of health. In every case, the key is the same: be before you can have. Embody before you can express. Assume the state of consciousness that would be yours if your desire were already fulfilled. The universe does not care about your wanting, your needing, your craving. It cares only about your being, your embodying, your expressing. This is what shapes your reality. This is what creates your experience. This is what determines your manifestation. Now, my dear wonderful friends, I wish to address a question that often arises. What about others? What about the people in your life? If your consciousness creates your reality, what role do others play in your experience? The answer may surprise you, for it challenges our conventional understanding of relationships. Every person in your experience is an aspect of yourself pushed out. They reflect your state of consciousness. They embody the qualities that you have assigned to them in your consciousness. This does not mean that others do not have their own existence, their own consciousness, their own free will. It means that your experience of others, your interaction with them, your relationship with them is determined by your consciousness of them. If you see others hostile, you will experience hostility. If you see others as loving, you will experience love. If you see others as generous, you will experience generosity. The universe does not care about what you want from others. It cares about how you see others in your consciousness. The technique for transforming relationships is the same as for transforming any other aspect of your experience. Assume the state of consciousness in which your desired relationship is already a fact. See the other person as already embodying the qualities you wish to experience from them. Feel the reality of this relationship. Live from this assumption, regardless of appearances. When you do this, you are not manipulating the other person. You are simply aligning your consciousness with a version of reality in which the relationship is as you desire it to be. The other person will either reflect this new consciousness, or they will move out your experience and be replaced by someone who does reflect it. This is what the universe cares about: your consciousness of others, your assumption about them, your state of being in relation to them. Not what you want from them, not what you think they should be, but how you see them in your consciousness. My dear friends, as we approach the conclusion of this lecture, I wish to emphasize a vital point. The principle we have explored tonight, that the universe responds not to what you want, but to what you are, is not merely a technique for getting things. It is a fundamental truth about the nature of reality. It is the way the cosmos operates. It is the law of being. When you align yourself with this law, when you live in harmony with this principle, you experience not just the fulfillment of your desires, but a profound sense of peace, power, and purpose. You recognize yourself as the author of your life story, the creator of your experience, the master of your destiny. But this mastery comes not from controlling external circumstances, not from manipulating events or people, but from controlling your own consciousness. Keep thy heart with all diligence, for out of it are the issues of life, your consciousness, your state of the source of all that appears in your life. The great promise of this principle is freedom: freedom from limitation, freedom from fear, freedom from doubt, freedom to assume any state, to embody any quality, to experience any reality that you choose, freedom to be the person you truly desire to be, to live the life you truly desire to live, to create the world you truly desire to create. This freedom is your birthright. It is not something to be earned or achieved. It is something to be recognized and expressed. It is the natural result of understanding and applying the principle we have explored tonight. My dear friends, as you leave this lecture and return to your daily lives, I urge you to put this principle into practice. Do not merely believe it intellectually, live it experientially. Test it in the laboratory of your own consciousness. Apply it to every aspect of your life. Prove its truth by your own experience. Begin tonight. Before you sleep, select a desire, something you truly wish to experience in your life. Then, in the quiet of your own consciousness, assume the state that would be yours if this desire were already fulfilled. See it, feel it, experience it as already real. Fall asleep in this state, feeling the joy, the satisfaction, the fulfillment of your desire. Do this night after night with patience and persistence. Do not be discouraged by appearances, by temporary setbacks, by seeming failures. Remember, the seed must be planted before the harvest can be reaped. The state must be assumed consistently before it can manifest completely. And as you do this, watch for signs of your manifestation. Be alert to the little changes, the subtle shifts, the synchronicities that indicate your new state is beginning to express itself in your outer world. Express gratitude for these signs, for gratitude accelerates manifestation. It acknowledges that what you desire is already yours in consciousness and therefore must become yours in experience. Above all, maintain the feeling of the wish fulfilled. Live from the end. Be the person you wish to be. Experience the reality you wish to experience. Express the qualities you wish to express. The universe does not care about what you want. It cares about what you are. This is the key to manifesting your desires. This is the secret of creation. This is the law of being. My dear wonderful friends, it has been my great joy to share these principles with you tonight. I am confident that as you apply them in your life, you will experience transformations beyond your wildest dreams. For when you align your consciousness with the truth of your being, when you express your true nature as pure I am, the entire universe conspires to make your life a living testament to the power and the glory of consciousness. Remember always, consciousness is the only reality. All things exist within it. Nothing exists outside of it. Your consciousness is your reality. Change your consciousness, and you change everything. May the God in you bless and keep you. May the I am that is your true nature guide and protect you. May the universal consciousness that expresses itself through you bring you to the fulfillment of all your desires. And may you always live in the awareness that the universe does not care about what you want. It cares about what you are. This is the eternal truth that sets you free. In the depth of your own being, in the silence of your own heart, in the sanctuary of your own consciousness, dwell with this to it until it becomes the living reality of your experience. For it is written, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. Think that the end, live from the end, and the end will become your present reality. I wish to share with you a profound truth about divine compensation. A truth so transformative that it will forever change how you view every seeming loss in your life. For what appears as loss in the world of Caesar is but the setup for divine restoration multiplied. Let me tell you with absolute conviction, the universe, which is nothing more than your own wonderful human imagination externalized, is already in the process of restoring everything you thought was lost. Not merely in equal measure, but pressed down, shaken together, and running over. First, you must grasp this eternal principle. Nothing is ever truly lost in consciousness. What appears as loss in the world of manifestation is merely a temporary state. For all things exist eternally in the mind of God. And are you not told that you are made in His image? Here is the secret of divine restoration that few will ever comprehend. Every seeming loss is actually a divine setup for greater gain. When you truly understand this principle, you will begin to see every loss through the eyes of faith, knowing it is but the catalyst for multiplication. Let me share with you the exact law by which this operates. When something appears to be lost in your world, it is actually being transformed in the invisible realm of consciousness. Like a seed that must fall into the ground and die before it can multiply, your seeming losses are but seeds of multiplication. Now let me reveal to you the precise method by which the universe restores all things, a method so perfect, so divine, that it must repay you not merely what was lost, but with interest compounded by divine law. For every tear you have shed is counted, every disappointment noted, every loss recorded in the divine ledger. When you understand this principle of divine restoration, you will never again fear loss. For what appears as loss in the world of shadows is merely the universe clearing space for greater blessings. Just as a gardener must prune the branches to allow for more abundant growth, so too must certain things be removed from your life to make way for greater good. Here is the exact law. Everything that seems to be taken from you is actually being multiplied in the invisible realm. Your task is not to mourn the loss, but to maintain in consciousness the knowledge of divine restoration. For whatever you hold in consciousness must, by eternal law, externalize in your world. Now, here is something profound about divine compensation that few will ever grasp. The universe doesn't merely replace what was lost, it upgrades it. That relationship that ended, it was making space for a more perfect expression of love. That opportunity that vanished, it was making way for something far greater. Throughout your day, whenever you think of something you've lost, immediately shift your consciousness to this truth. The universe is now restoring this to me multiplied, not with effort or strain, but with the easy naturalness of knowing that divine law is already in operation. When someone walks out of your life, do not see it as loss. See it instead as the universe creating space for a more perfect expression of love. For I tell you with absolute certainty, every tear you have shed over lost love is being transformed into pearls of greater joy. Every moment of loneliness is being converted into deeper connection. Here is the exact principle by which this operates when a relationship ends. It is not truly ending. It is being transformed. The love you gave, the trust you extended, the devotion you showed, none of it is lost. It is all recorded in the divine ledger, and it must by eternal law return to you multiplied. Now let me share with you something profound about relationship restoration that few will comprehend. The universe doesn't just send you another person. It sends you a more perfect expression of what you truly desire. That person who left, they were not your end. They were your training ground for greater love. Throughout your consciousness, maintain this knowing. Every person who has left my life has created space for someone who will love me more perfectly. For remember, in consciousness, all relationships exist in their perfect state, waiting to be claimed by your assumption. Let me reveal to you now how this same law operates in the realm of financial loss. Every dollar that has slipped through your fingers, every opportunity that has seemed to vanish, every financial setback you have experienced, all of it is being transformed in the invisible realm into greater abundance. Every opportunity you believe has passed you by, if it's too late, that echoes in your mind. The universe is already orchestrating divine compensation that will make you marvel at its perfect timing. When you understand this principle, you will see that time itself is nothing but a servant of consciousness. There is no such thing as too late in the realm of divine restoration. For what appears as lost time in the world of Caesar is being compressed and multiplied in the realm of divine compensation. Here is the exact law. Every moment you think you've lost is actually being recycled into greater opportunities. That business you didn't start 10 years ago, the universe was protecting you for a greater expression of that desire. That degree you didn't complete in your youth, divine timing was preparing you for a more perfect manifestation of that knowledge. Now, here is something profound about divine timing that most will never grasp. The universe doesn't operate on human schedules. What appears as delay in the world manifestation is actually perfect timing in the realm of divine order. Your seeming late start is actually your perfect beginning. Throughout your consciousness, maintain this knowing divine timing is always perfect timing. For in the realm of consciousness, there is no past to regret, no future to fear. There is only the eternal now in which all things are possible. Let me share with you now how this same principle operates in the realm of personal growth. Every setback you've experienced, every failure that has haunted you, every mistake that has caused you shame, all of it is being transformed into wisdom, strength, and understanding. Let me reveal to you now how this divine law operates in the transformation of your perceived failures. For every defeat you've tasted, every dream that seemed to crumble, Every venture that appeared to fail, the universe is already alchemizing these experiences into golden opportunities that will astound you with their perfection. When you truly understand this principle, you will see that what you call failure is merely success in rehearsal. For in the divine economy, nothing is wasted, not a single tear, not a moment of doubt, not an ounce of effort. All is being gathered, transformed, and multiplied by divine law. Here is the exact principle. Every failure you've experienced is actually a foundation stone for greater success. That business that failed, it was teaching you invaluable lessons that will ensure your future triumph. That project that collapsed, it was strengthening muscles you didn't even know you needed. Now here's something profound about divine compensation for failure that few will ever comprehend. The universe doesn't just restore your losses, it uses them as raw material to build something far greater than you originally imagined. Your failures are not endpoints, they are divine setups for comebacks that will leave you in awe. Throughout your consciousness, maintain this knowing, every failure is being transformed into greater success. For in the realm of consciousness, there is no such thing as failure. There is only feedback, only learning, only growth. Let me share with you now how this same principle operates in the realm of your dreams and aspirations. Every dream that seemed to die, every goal that appeared out of reach, every aspiration that faded, all of it is being resurrected in more glorious form. When you grasp this principle, you will understand that no talent is ever truly wasted, no ability ever truly dormant. For in the divine economy, everything you have learned, every skill you have acquired, every natural gift you possess is being woven into the tapestry of your divine purpose. Here is the exact law. Every talent you possess, whether expressed or unexpressed, is accumulating divine interest. That artistic ability you never fully developed, it was maturing in the invisible realm. That leadership quality you thought was too late to employ, it was being refined for perfect timing. Now here is something profound about divine compensation for unused talents that most will never grasp. The universe doesn't just give you another chance to use your gifts. It creates scenarios where these talents will be expressed at their highest possible level. Your delayed gifts are not diminished. They are enhanced by the waiting. Throughout your consciousness, maintain this knowing. Every talent I possess is being called forth at the perfect time for its highest expression. For in consciousness, there is no such thing as a wasted gift. There is only perfect timing for perfect expression. Let me share with you now how this same principle operates in the realm of your spiritual unfoldment. Every insight you've gained, every truth you've glimpsed, every moment of awakening, all of it is being amplified and expanded in divine consciousness. When you comprehend this principle, you will see that emotional suffering is not merely pain to be endured, but rather the birthing process of deeper serenity. For in the divine economy, every tear becomes a pearl of wisdom. Every moment of darkness prepares you for brighter light. Here is the exact law. Every emotional wound you've carried is being transformed into emotional intelligence of the highest order. That heartbreak that seemed unbearable, it was expanding your capacity for joy. That anxiety that tormented you, it was teaching you the art of inner peace. Now, here is something profound about emotional compensation that few will ever grasp. The universe doesn't just heal your wounds, it transforms them into sources of strength that will benefit not only you but countless others. Your pain is not purposeless, it is the raw material for your emotional mastery. Throughout your consciousness, maintain this knowing. Every emotional challenge is being transformed into greater peace and understanding. For in consciousness, there is no such thing as wasted pain. There is only transformation, only growth, only expansion. Let me share with you now how this same principle operates in the realm of your relationships with others. Every misunderstanding, every betrayal, every broken connection, all of it is being rewoven into a tapestry of perfect relationships. When you understand this principle, you will see that physical challenges are not permanent sentences, but temporary states being transformed into greater strength. For in the divine economy, every physical limitation becomes the foundation for extraordinary resilience. Here is the exact law. Every physical challenge you face is actually being transformed into greater vitality. That illness that seemed to rob you of strength, it was building your immune system to levels you never imagined possible. that limitation that frustrated you. It was developing other abilities that lay dormant within. Now, here is something profound about physical compensation that most will never grasp. The universe doesn't just know health, it establishes a new baseline of vitality, higher than what you knew before. Your challenges are not your destiny, they are the cocoon from which greater health emerges. Throughout your consciousness, maintain this knowing, every physical challenge is being transformed into greater strength and vitality. For in consciousness, there is no such thing as permanent limitation. There is only transformation, only renewal, only regeneration. Let me share with you now how this same principle operates in the realm of your mental faculties. Every moment of confusion, every period of mental fog, every intellectual challenge, all of it is being transformed into greater clarity and understanding. Let me now unveil how this divine law operates in the realm of your creative expression. For every idea that was dismissed, every artistic endeavor that remained incomplete, every creative impulse that was suppressed, the universe is already preparing an outlet of expression that will far exceed your original vision. When you grasp this principle, you will understand that creative energy is never truly lost. It merely accumulates, gathering force like a river behind a dam. For in the divine economy, every unexpressed idea, every unfinished project, every unrealized vision is being amplified in the invisible realm. Here is the exact law. Every creative impulse you've ever felt is alive and growing in consciousness. That book you never wrote, it was becoming richer in your spiritual storehouse. That music you never composed, it was being orchestrated to perfection in the silence. That art you never created, it was maturing into even more magnificent forms. Now here is something profound about creative compensation that few will ever comprehend. The universe doesn't just return your creative energy, it returns it multiplied and refined by divine wisdom. Your delayed expressions are not diminished, they are enhanced by the waiting, enriched by your experiences, deepened by your growth. Throughout your consciousness, maintain this knowing. Every creative impulse I've ever felt is now finding perfect expression. For in consciousness, there is no such thing as lost inspiration. There is only perfect timing for perfect expression. Let me share with you now how this same principle operates in the realm of your divine purpose. Every calling you've ignored, every mission you've postponed, every purpose you've questioned, all of it is being woven into a tapestry of perfect fulfillment. Every moment of divine connection that felt lost, the universe is already preparing a spiritual awakening that will transcend all your previous experiences. When you understand this principle, you will see that spiritual drought is not a punishment, but a preparation. For in the divine economy, every moment of spiritual longing, every feeling of separation, every questioning of faith is being transformed into deeper wisdom and more profound connection. Here is the exact law. Every spiritual experience you've ever had, whether recognized or not, is accumulating in your consciousness. That meditation practice that seemed ineffective, it was building a foundation for profound enlightenment. Those prayers that appeared to go unheard, they were being answered in ways far beyond your current understanding. Now here is something profound about spiritual compensation that most will never grasp. The universe doesn't just restore your spiritual connection, it deepens it beyond anything you could have imagined. Your periods of spiritual dryness are not failures, they are the necessary preparation for greater spiritual heights. Throughout your consciousness, maintain this knowing. Every spiritual effort I've made is now bearing fruit multiplied. For in consciousness, there is no such thing as wasted devotion. There is only deepening, only expansion, only greater revelation. Let me share with you now how this same principle operates in the realm of your divine relationships. Every spiritual companion who has left your path, every teacher who seemed to disappear, every spiritual community you've lost, all of it is being transformed into more perfect spiritual connections. Now let me reveal to you how this divine law operates in the realm of your material abundance. For every financial loss you've suffered, every material possession that slipped away, every abundance that seemed to diminish, the universe is already orchestrating a restoration that will exceed your grandest expectations. When you truly grasp this principle, you will understand that material loss is merely the mercer's way of clearing space for greater abundance. For in the divine economy, every dollar lost, every possession released, every resource diminished, is being multiplied in the invisible realm. Here is the exact law. Every material loss you've experienced is actually an investment in future abundance. That money that disappeared, it was being transformed into greater wealth. That home you had to leave, it was making way for a more perfect dwelling. That business that failed, it was setting the stage for greater success. Now here is something profound about material compensation that few will ever comprehend. The universe doesn't just replace what was lost. It returns it in a form that better serves your highest good. Your losses are not permanent. They are divine setups for supernatural comeback stories. Throughout your consciousness, maintain this knowing. Every material loss is being transformed into greater abundance. For in consciousness, there is no such thing as loss. There is only transformation, only multiplication, only increase. Let me share with you now how this same principle operates in the realm of your divine opportunities. Every chance you missed, every door that closed, every opportunity that vanished, all of it is being reconstructed into greater possibilities. You will see that divine timing supersedes human timing. For in divine economy, there is no such thing as too late. There is only perfect timing, only divine orchestration, only supernatural acceleration. Here is the exact law. Every moment you think you've lost is being compressed and multiplied in divine consciousness. That opportunity you think passed you by, it was merely preparing you for something greater. That timing you thought you missed, it was protecting you for perfect manifestation. Now, here is something profound about divine timing that most will never grasp. The universe doesn't operate on your calendar. It operates on divine synchronicity. What appears as delay in human time is actually perfect alignment in divine time. Your missed timing is actually divine protection. Throughout your consciousness, maintain this knowing. Divine timing is always working in my favor. For in consciousness, there is no past to regret, no future to fear. There is only the eternal now, where all possibilities exist. Let me share with you now how this same principle operates in the realm of your divine connections. Every relationship that ended prematurely, every partnership that dissolved, every connection that seemed interrupted, all of it is being rewoven into more perfect unions. Now let me bring all these eternal principles to their ultimate culmination. For what I have shared with you tonight is not merely theory, it is the very science of divine compensation, the absolute law of spiritual restoration. Remember this fundamental truth. The universe, which is your own wonderful human imagination pushed out, must restore all things in divine order. Not by human calculation, but by divine multiplication. Not by mortal timing, but by immortal orchestration. Here is your final instruction. Take all that I have revealed to you tonight and live in the absolute assurance that every loss, every setback, every disappointment is already being transformed into something far greater than you could have imagined. For this is not mere positive thinking. This is divine law. I tell you with complete authority, if you will maintain this consciousness of divine mysticism, your entire world must reshape itself to reflect this truth. Every tear will be transformed into triumph, every loss into gain, every ending into a more glorious beginning. Go forth now in the absolute knowing that the universe is already repaying you for everything you thought was lost. Not in equal measure, but pressed down, shaken together, and running over. For this is the promise of divine compensation, and the promise is sure. Remember, you are not calling forth something that does not exist. You are simply awakening to what eternally is. Everything you have ever lost still exists in divine substance, multiplying, expanding, growing, waiting for your consciousness to align with its perfect restoration. Let this be your conviction as you leave here tonight. The universe owes you, and it always pays its debts with interest. Every loss has been recorded, every tear has been counted, every disappointment has been noted. And now by divine law, everything is being restored, multiplied. For this is the eternal promise, and it cannot fail. What appears as loss in the world of Caesar is but the setup for divine restoration beyond measure. The end has been reached, for you now possess the key to all restoration, your consciousness of divine compensation. Use it faithfully, use it consistently, and watch every loss transform into gain multiplied. I understand that this statement may seem startling, perhaps even unsettling to some of you. You might be thinking, Neville, what do you mean by assimilation? Surely this world I see, touch, and experience is real. And to that, I say, yes, it is real, but perhaps not in the way you have always believed it to be. Let us begin by understanding what I mean when I say you are in assimilation. I am not speaking of some technological construct, some computer-generated reality as depicted in your science fiction tales. No, the simulation I speak of is far more profound, far more encompassing. It is the separation, the illusion of limitation, the dream of reality that we have collectively agreed to experience. You see, my dear friends, at the deepest level of reality, we are all one. We are individualized expressions of the one divine consciousness, the one God, the one I. This divine consciousness is infinite, eternal, and all-encompassing. It knows no limitations, no boundaries, no separation. It is pure potential, pure creativity, pure love. Yet, here we find ourselves experiencing a world of seeming separation, of apparent limitations, of perceived duality. We experience ourselves as separate beings, distinct from each other and from the world around us. We perceive time as linear, space as fixed, and our abilities as limited. This, my friends, is the simulation. But why, you might ask, would we choose to experience such a simulation? Why would infinite consciousness choose to experience limitation? The answer, paradoxically, lies in the nature of infinity itself. For infinity to know itself, it must experience all possibilities, including the possibility of limitation. And so, we as individualized expressions of this infinite consciousness have chosen to immerse ourselves in this simulation of separation, to experience the thrill of rediscovering our true, infinite nature. Now, let us delve deeper into the nature of this simulation. The simulation is not something external to you. It is not a prison in which you are trapped. Rather, it is a creation of consciousness itself, your consciousness. You are not in the simulation is in you. It is a dream you are dreaming. A game you are playing with yourself. The world you see around you, the circumstances of your life, the very body you inhabit, all of these are projections of your consciousness. They are not causes but effects. They do not define you, they reflect you. They are the outward pictures of your inner assumptions, your beliefs, your state of consciousness. This understanding is crucial, for it is the key to exiting the simulation. You see, you cannot exit the simulation by trying to change the outward pictures. You cannot break free by fighting against the shadows on the wall of Plato's cave. The only way out is in by changing your consciousness, by awakening to your true nature as the dreamer of the dream. So how do we begin this process of awakening, of exiting the simulation? The first step is awareness. You must become aware of the simulation, aware of the dream-like nature of your reality. This awareness begins with observing your thoughts, your beliefs, your assumptions about yourself and the world around you. Start paying attention to your inner dialogue, to the story you tell yourself about who you are and what is possible for you. Notice how these inner conversations shape your experience of reality. Observe how your beliefs and assumptions manifest as the circumstances of your life. This observation must be done without judgment, without trying to change anything at first. Simply observe. Become the witness to your own thoughts, your own beliefs, your own assumptions. As you do this, you will begin to see the patterns, the habitual ways of thinking that have shaped your experience of reality. You will start to notice how your beliefs about limitation, about lack, about unworthiness, have manifested as experiences of limitation, lack, and unworthiness in your life. You will begin to see how your fears, your doubts, your anxieties have taken form in the world around you. This awareness is the first crack in the facade of the simulation. It is the beginning of your awakening. For in becoming aware of these patterns, you also become aware of your power to change them. You begin to realize that you are not a victim of circumstances, but the creator of your reality. As this awareness deepens, you will come to a profound realization that you are not the thinker of your thoughts, but the awareness behind the thoughts. You are not the beliefs, the assumptions, the fears, or the doubts. You are the consciousness that observes them. This realization is a crucial step in exiting the simulation. For as long as you identify with your thoughts, with your beliefs, with your assumptions, you remain trapped in the simulation. But when you recognize yourself as the awareness behind these mental constructs, you begin to free yourself from their grip. Now, my dear friends, as we continue on this journey of awakening, of exiting the simulation, we come to the next crucial step, the practice of detachment. Detachment in this context does not mean a lack of care or involvement in your life. Rather, it means detaching from your identification with the characters and circumstances of your dream. You see, within the simulation, we tend to identify strongly with our roles, our professions, our relationships, our possessions, our achievements, our problems. We say, I am a doctor, I am a mother, I am poor, I am successful, and so on. But these are not who you are. They are roles you are playing, costumes you are wearing in the grand drama of life. To exit the simulation, you must learn to detach from these identifications. You must realize that you are not the character in the dream, but the dreamer of the dream. You are not the wave, but the ocean. You are not the role, but the actor playing the role. This detachment allows you to observe your life experiences from a higher perspective. It enables you to see the dreamlike nature of your reality more clearly. It frees you from the emotional entanglements that keep you bound to the simulation. Practice saying to yourself, I am not this body. I am not these thoughts. I am not these emotions. I am not these circumstances. I am the awareness that observes all these things. Do this regularly, especially when you find yourself caught up in the drama of life. As you practice this detachment, you will find that you can navigate life's challenges with greater ease and grace. You will be less reactive, less easily swayed by the ups and downs of life. You will begin to experience a deep sense of peace and freedom, regardless of external circumstances. Now, my friends, as we delve deeper into the process of exiting the simulation, we come to a powerful technique, the practice of revision. Revision is not merely about changing your memories or rewriting your past. It is about recognizing your power as the author of your life story and consciously choosing to write a new narrative. You see, within the simulation, we often feel bound by our past experiences, our memories, our habitual patterns of thought and behavior. We believe that because something happened in the past, it must continue to influence our present and future. But this is part of the illusion. In truth, there is only the eternal now. The past exists only as memory. Memory is malleable. The future exists only as imagination. All power, all possibility exists in the present moment. And in this moment, you have the power to revise your story. Here's how to practice revision. At the end of each day, review the events of your day in your imagination. If there were any events that were not to your liking, revise them. See them unfolding in a way that pleases you. Feel the satisfaction, the joy, the fulfillment of this revised version of events. This is not mere fantasy or wishful thinking. Remember, your outer world is a reflection of your inner world. By revising events in your imagination, you are literally rewriting the energetic imprint of those events in your consciousness. And as you change your consciousness, you change your world. Extend this practice of revision to your entire life story. Are there past events that still trouble you? Revise them in your imagination. See them unfolding in a way that empowers you, that brings you joy. Feel the emotions of this new version of events as if they were real, because in the realm of consciousness, they are real. As you engage in this practice of revision, you are doing more than just changing your memories. You are exercising your power as the author of your life story. You are recognizing that your reality is not fixed, but fluid. You are stepping out of the linear time construct of the simulation and into the eternal now of true reality. Now, my dear listeners, as we continue our journey towards exiting the simulation, we come to a fundamental truth that you must not only understand but embody: the power of your imagination. Your imagination is not some frivolous faculty for daydreaming or escapism. It is the very workshop wherein you fashion your reality. In the simulation, we have been conditioned to believe that imagination is separate from reality. We say things like, "It's just your imagination," as if to dismiss its importance. But I tell you now, your imagination is the most real, the most substantial thing in your experience. It is, in fact, the very substance of reality itself. When you imagine, you are not creating images in your mind. You are experiencing reality at its most fundamental level. You are engaging with the pure potential of consciousness, shaping it with your attention and your assumption. To exit the simulation, you must learn to use your imagination consciously and deliberately. You must treat your imaginal acts as real events, for in the realm of consciousness, they are real events. They are causes set in motion that must, by universal law, produce effects in your outer world. Begin by choosing a desire, something you wish to experience in your life. Now close your eyes and create a scene in your imagination that implies the fulfillment of this desire. Make it as vivid and as real as possible. Engage all your senses, see the details, hear the sounds, feel the textures, smell the scents associated with this scene. Most importantly, feel the emotions you would feel if this scene were actually happening in your physical reality. Feel the joy, the satisfaction, the gratitude of having your desire fulfilled. For it is the feeling that gives life to your imaginal act. Now, here's the crucial part. You must persist in this imaginal act. You must return to it again and again, dwelling in the feeling of the wish fulfilled. You must live from this new assumption, this new state of consciousness, regardless of any contradictory evidence presented by your physical senses. Remember, the physical world you see around you is the effect, not the cause. It is the shadow, not the substance. By persisting in your imaginal act, by consistently assuming the feeling of your wish fulfilled, you are changing the cause. And when the cause changes, the effect must change. This, my friends, is how you begin to consciously create your reality. This is how you start to exit the simulation. You are no longer a passive participant in a pre-programmed reality. You are the active creator, shaping your world with the power of your imagination. As you practice this, you will begin to see changes in your outer world. Circumstances will shift, opportunities will arise. People will respond to you differently. These are signs that you are starting to break free from the old patterns of the simulation. But here's a word of caution. Do not become attached to these outer changes. Do not seek for signs or try to make things happen. Your only task is to persist in the assumption of your wish fulfilled. The how, the when, the where of its manifestation is not your concern. That belongs to the infinite intelligence of the universe. Your job is simply to imagine and believe, to live from the end, to dwell in the state of the wish fulfilled. As you do this, you are literally reprogramming the simulation. You are rewriting the code of your reality. Now, let us delve deeper into another crucial aspect of exiting the simulation, the understanding and application of the law of assumption. This law states that your assumptions, whether conscious or unconscious, shape your reality. To assume a state is to experience that state. Within the simulation, we often feel that we are at the mercy of external circumstances. We believe that we must change our actions or our environment to change our lives. But this is part of the illusion. The truth is, all change begins within. It begins with a change in your assumptions. To exit the simulation, you must become conscious of your assumptions and deliberately choose new ones that align with your desires. This is not about positive thinking or affirmations. It's about a fundamental shift in your state of being. For example, if you desire financial abundance, you must assume the state of a wealthy person. How would a wealthy person think? How would they feel? How would they carry themselves? Assume that state now, regardless of your current bank balance. Live from that assumption. If you desire a loving relationship, assume the state of someone who is deeply loved and cherished. Feel that love now, even if you're currently single. Live from the assumption that love is your natural state. Remember, in the realm of consciousness, there is no process. There is only immediacy. The moment you assume a state, you are in that state. The outer world may take time to reflect this change, but in consciousness, it is instantaneous. This understanding liberates you from the linear time construct of the simulation. You no longer need to wait for your desires to manifest. You can experience them now in your imagination, which is the reality of all realities. As you practice living from your desired state, you may notice a peculiar phenomenon. The gap between your imaginal acts and your physical reality will begin to close. What you imagine will start to manifest with increasing speed and accuracy. This is a sign that you are loosening the bonds of the simulation. Now, my dear friends, as we continue our journey towards exiting the simulation, we must address a critical concept, the nature of your true self. Within the simulation, we identify with our physical bodies, our personalities, our personal histories. But these are not your true self. They are aspects of the character you are playing in this grand drama of life. Your true self is the awareness behind all these things. It is the observer, the witness, the knower of all your experiences. This true self is not bound by the limitations of the physical world. It is not subject to birth or death, to change or decay. It is eternal, infinite, and all-encompassing. To exit the simulation, you must shift your identity from the character to the actor, from the dream to the dreamer. This shift in identity is not something you can achieve through intellectual understanding alone. It must be experienced, realized at the deepest level of your being. One powerful way to facilitate this shift is through the practice of self-inquiry. Throughout your day, pause and ask yourself, who am I? Don't try to answer this question intellectually. Instead, turn your attention inward. Look for the source of the I thought. Who is this I that is experiencing all these things? As you inquire deeply, you may come to a startling realization that you cannot find a separate individual self. The more you look for it, the more it seems to disappear. What remains is pure awareness, boundless and free. This realization is not an intellectual concept, but a lived experience. It is the recognition of your true nature as pure consciousness. And this recognition is the key to exiting the simulation. For when you know yourself as pure awareness, you are no longer bound by the limitations of the physical world. You are no longer identified with the character in the dream. You are the dreamer, capable of shaping the dream at will. Now let us explore another powerful tool for exiting the simulation, the practice of living in the end. This technique involves assuming the feeling of your wish fulfilled, living as if your desire has already been realized. You see, within the simulation, we have been conditioned to believe that we must take action in the physical world to achieve our goals. We think that if we work hard enough, struggle enough, we will eventually reach our desired end. But this approach keeps us trapped in the illusion of linear time and cause and effect. To exit the simulation, you must realize that the end is not something to be achieved in the future. The end is a state of consciousness to be assumed now. When you live in the end, you collapse time. You bring the future into the present moment. Here's how to practice living in the end. Choose a desire, something you wish to experience in your life. Now, instead of thinking about how to achieve this desire, imagine that it has already been fulfilled. How would you feel? How would you think? How would you act if this desire were already a reality in your life? Assume those feelings, thoughts, and actions now. Live from that state of consciousness. Speak, think, and act as the person who already has what you desire. This is not pretending or faking it. This is assuming a new state of being, a new state of consciousness. As you live in the end, you may notice that your outer world begins to rearrange itself to match your new inner state. People, circumstances, and opportunities that align with your assumed state will be drawn to you. This is not magic or coincidence. It is the natural result of aligning your consciousness with your desire. Remember, the outer world is a reflection of your inner world. By living in the end, you are changing the cause, your state of consciousness, and the effect, your outer reality, must change to match it. Now, my friends, as we delve deeper into the process of exit simulation, we must address the role of your emotions. Within the simulation, we often believe that our emotions are reactions to external events. We think that we feel happy because something good happened, or sad because something bad happened. But this is part of the illusion. Your emotions are not reactions to the world around you. They are creative forces that shape your reality. They are the energy that gives life to your thoughts and assumptions. To exit the simulation, you must learn to use your emotions consciously and deliberately. Instead of allowing your emotions to be triggered by external events, choose the emotions that align with your desired reality. Feel the joy, the gratitude, the love that you would feel if your desires were already fulfilled. This may seem challenging at first, especially if your current circumstances seem to contradict your desired reality. But remember, your circumstances are the effect, not the cause. By choosing to feel the emotions of your wish fulfilled, you are changing the cause, and the effect must follow. Practice feeling these positive emotions regardless of your external circumstances. When you wake up in the morning, before you even open your eyes, fill yourself with the feeling of joy, of gratitude, of love. Carry these feelings with you throughout your day. Let them inform your thoughts, your words, your actions. As you do this, you may notice a shift in your perception of the world around you. Things that used to bother you may no longer affect you. Opportunities that you didn't see before may suddenly become apparent. This is a sign that you are beginning to see through the illusion of the simulation. Now let us discuss another crucial aspect of exiting the simulation, the understanding of your oneness with all of creation. Within the simulation, we experience ourselves as separate beings distinct from each other and from the world around us. But this separation is an illusion, a fundamental aspect of the simulation itself. In truth, we are all one. We are individualized expressions of the one divine consciousness. Just as the waves are not separate from the ocean, we are not separate from the infinite field of consciousness that is the source of all creation. To exit the simulation, you must not only understand this truth intellectually, but experience it directly. One powerful way to do this is through the practice of meditation. As you sit in silence, focusing your attention inward, you may begin to experience a dissolution of the boundaries of your individual self. You may have moments where you feel a deep connection with all of life, where the sense of separation falls away, and you experience yourself as pure awareness. These moments are glimpses of reality beyond the simulation. Cultivate these experiences. Seek them out not just in formal meditation, but in your daily life. Look for the divine in everything and everyone around you. Recognize that the same consciousness that is looking out through your eyes is looking out through the eyes of every other being. As you embrace this understanding of oneness, you will find that your attitude towards others and towards life itself begins to change. You will naturally become more compassionate, more loving, more understanding. You will begin to see that by helping others, you are helping yourself, for there is no true separation between you and others. This realization of oneness is a powerful key to exiting the simulation. For when you know yourself as one with all of creation, you tap into the infinite power and intelligence of the universe. You realize that all the power you have been seeking outside yourself has been within you all along. Now, my dear friends, as we near the conclusion of our exploration, let us address one final, crucial point: the importance of persistence and faith in your journey to exit the simulation. This path we have outlined is not always easy. There will be times when the illusion of the simulation seems overwhelmingly real, when your old habits of thought and emotion try to reassert themselves. In these moments, you must persist. You must hold fast to your new understanding, to your new state of consciousness. Remember, the simulation has been your lived reality for so long. It will not disappear overnight. But with persistence and faith, its hold on you will gradually loosen. Have faith in the process. Have faith in your true nature as pure consciousness. Have faith in your power to shape your reality. This faith is not blind belief, but a deep knowing that comes from your direct experience of these truths. Persist in your imaginal acts. Persist in living from the end. Persist in feeling the emotions of your wish fulfilled. Persist in your realization of oneness with all of creation. Even when your senses argue against it, even when the outer world seems unchanged, persist. For it is through this persistence that you reprogram the simulation. It is through this persistence that you align your consciousness with the reality beyond the simulation. It is through this persistence that you ultimately exit the simulation and step into the full realization of your true nature. My dear friends, as we come to the end of our discussion, I want you to remember this. You are not trapped in the simulation. You are the creator of the simulation. You have the power to shape it, to transform it, and ultimately to transcend it. The journey of exiting the simulation is not about escaping from your current reality. It's about awakening to the greater reality of which your current experience is but a small part. It's about remembering your true nature as infinite, eternal consciousness. As you leave here today, carry this knowledge with you. Apply these principles in your daily life. Be aware of your thoughts, your assumptions, your emotions. Use your imagination consciously and deliberately. Live from the state of your wish fulfilled. Recognize your oneness with all of creation. And above all, persist. Persist in your new understanding. Persist in your new state of being. For it is through this persistence that you will ultimately break free from the limitations of the simulation and step into the full realization of your divine nature. Remember, you are not in the simulation. The simulation is in you. You are the dreamer, not the dream. You are the creator, not the creation. Embrace this truth, live from this truth, and watch as your world transforms around you. Go forth now, armed with this knowledge, empowered by this understanding. The journey of awakening, of exiting the simulation begins now, and it begins with you. Thank you, and may your journey be filled with joy, wonder, and the thrill of rediscovering your true, infinite nature.
I want to reveal to you why these words hold such tremendous power and how you can use them to manifest everything you've ever desired. You see, most people spend their entire life searching outside themselves for power, for permission, for validation. They believe their desires must be achieved through hard work, struggle, and external forces. But I tell you this, all power resides within your own consciousness. When you declare, "I'm the power," you are acknowledging the fundamental truth of existence. You are recognizing that the force that moves the stars and grows the flowers is the same force that flows through your consciousness. Let me tell you something profound about these 4 words. When you speak them, you're not making a mere affirmation. You're declaring your true nature, your essential being. You're acknowledging the creative force within you. Consider this. Every great achievement in human history began with someone recognizing their inner power. They didn't wait for external permission. They didn't seek validation from others. They understood that all power flows from within. You see, most people have it backwards. They say, when I have this, then I will be powerful. But I tell you this, you must first assume your power, and then all things become possible. These 4 words, I am the power, are not just words to be spoken. They must be felt. They must be lived. They must become your dominant state of consciousness. Let me share with you what happens when you truly embody these words. The entire universe must reorganize itself to reflect your new self-concept. This is not metaphysics. This is law. Most of you sit here tonight thinking about what you want to manifest. But I tell you this, manifestation is not about getting something you don't have. It's about revealing what already exists within your consciousness. When you declare, I am the power, you're not creating power. You're acknowledging what has always been true. This recognition changes everything. Your entire world must shift to align with this declaration. You see, most people approach manifestation like beggars, hoping and wishing for their desires to be granted. But when you know I am the power, you approach life as a creator, knowing that what you decree must manifest. Let me share something profound about consciousness. Your consciousness is the only reality. Everything you see in your world is simply consciousness made visible. Therefore, when you declare I am the power, you're literally reshaping your entire universe. Think about this. Every morning when you wake up, you're either reinforcing your powerlessness or claiming your power. There's no neutral position. Every thought, every feeling, every assumption is either aligning with I am the power or denying it. You see, these 4 words are not just a positive affirmation. They are a recognition of the fundamental truth of your being. When you truly grasp this, manifestation becomes as natural as breathing. Most of you have been taught to look for power in external circumstances, in money, in relationships, in social status. But I tell you this, all these things are merely effects. The cause lies in your consciousness. Consider what happens when you truly know, I am the power. You no longer beg, you no longer plead, you no longer hope. You simply decree, and by law, your decree must manifest. Let me share with you why these words are so transformative. When you declare, I am the power, you're shifting your entire self-concept. You're no longer seeing yourself as a victim of circumstances, but as the creator of circumstances. You see, most people spend their lives reacting to what they see. But when you know I am the power, you understand that what you see is simply your consciousness pushed out. Therefore, to change what you see, you must change your consciousness. Think about this. Every great achievement began with someone knowing they were the power. They didn't wait for conditions to change. They changed conditions by changing their consciousness. Let me share with you what happens in the depths of consciousness when you truly embody these 4 words. Your entire world begins to reorganize itself to match your new self-concept. You see, most people believe their circumstances dictate their state of being. But when you declare, I am the power, you reverse this process. Your state of being now dictates your circumstances. Consider this. Every moment of your life, you're either expressing power or expressing limitation. There is no middle ground. When you truly grasp these 4 words, you cease giving power to external conditions. Let me tell you something profound about manifestation. When you know I am the power, you stop asking how things will manifest. You understand that the power that knows the way will make the way. Most of you sit here tonight thinking about your problems, your limitations, your obstacles. But I tell you this, these are merely shadows cast by a consciousness that has forgotten I am the power. You see, when you truly embody these 4 words, you enter a new dimension of being. In this dimension, problems don't need to be solved. They simply dissolve in the light of your consciousness. Think about this. Everything you see in your world right now is the result of your previous concepts about yourself. Change the concept by knowing I am the power, and your world must change. Let me share with you the true meaning of these words. When you declare I am the power, you're not making a positive statement. You're acknowledging your true identity. Most of you have been taught to look for causes outside yourself. But when you know I am the power, you understand that you are the only cause in your world. Consider this carefully. Every condition in your life right now is simply a shadow of your consciousness. When you truly know I am the power, you cease fighting shadows and start changing consciousness. Let me tell you about the transformative nature of these 4 words. When you declare I am the power, you're not just changing your thoughts. You're changing the very foundation of your reality. You see, most people live their entire lives believing they're victims of circumstances. But when you truly embody I am the power, you understand that circumstances are merely reflections of consciousness. Consider what happens when you wake up each morning knowing I'm the power. Suddenly, obstacles become opportunities. Problems become possibilities. Every challenge becomes a chance to demonstrate your creative power. Let me share something profound about these words. When you declare I am the power, you're not making a future promise. You're claiming a present reality. This distinction changes everything. Most of you sit here thinking about what you want to create in your future. But I tell you this, there is no future creation. There's only present assumption. When you know I am the power, you understand that what you assume now must manifest. You see, these 4 words are not just a statement. They are a complete shift in consciousness. When you truly embody them, you cease looking outside yourself for anything. Think about this. Every time you say, I can't, or it's too difficult, you're denying these 4 words. You're giving your power away to external conditions. Let me tell you what happens when you consistently maintain this consciousness. Your entire world must reshape itself to reflect your new self-concept. Most of you have spent years accumulating evidence of your limitations. But when you know I am the power, you understand that all past evidence is irrelevant. Only your present assumption matters. Consider this. Every great achievement in your life began with a shift in consciousness. When you knew you could, you did. These 4 words simply make this knowing permanent. Let me share with you something profound about these 4 words that most will never understand. When you declare I am the power, you're not just making a statement. You're activating the very force that created the universe. You see, most people spend their lives waiting for permission to be powerful. They wait for the right circumstances, the right credentials, the right moment. But I tell you this, the only permission you need is your own recognition that I am the power. Consider what happens in your world when you truly embody these words. Your relationships change because you no longer seek power from others. Your work transforms because you no longer depend on external validation. Your entire life shifts because you're operating from a new dimension of consciousness. Let me tell you about the subtle shift that occurs when you consistently maintain this state. You stop asking, when will my desire manifest? Because you understand that manifestation is not a future event. It's a present moment recognition. Most of you have been taught that power is something to be acquired. But when you declare I'm the power, you understand that power is your natural state. Everything else is learned powerlessness. You see, these 4 words challenge everything you've been taught about. Cause and effect. When you know I am the power, you understand that consciousness is the only cause and everything else is effect. Think about this. Every time you say I hope or I wish, you're denying these 4 words. You're placing power outside yourself in some future event or external circumstance. Let me share with you what happens when you maintain this consciousness consistently. Your entire world must rearrange itself to match your new self-concept. This is not theory, this is law. Most of you sit here tonight thinking about your past failures, your current limitations, your future obstacles. But I tell you this, all of these are merely shadows cast by a consciousness that has forgotten I am the power. Consider this. Every moment of your life, you're either expressing power or expressing limitation. There is no neutral ground. When you truly grasp these 4 words, you cease giving power to anything external. Let me reveal to you the deeper meaning behind these 4 words. When you declare, I am the power, you're not making a casual statement. You're aligning yourself with the fundamental creative force of the universe. You see, most people live their entire lives believing that power lies in their actions, their resources, their connections. But I tell you this, all these are merely expressions of consciousness. When you know I am the power, your actions flow from this knowing. Consider what happens when you approach each day from this consciousness. You no longer wake up wondering what the day will bring. You wake up knowing that you bring to the day whatever you decree in consciousness. Let me tell you about the transformation that occurs when you live from these 4 words. You stop seeking validation from others because you understand that all validation comes from within. You stop fighting circumstances because you know that circumstances are merely shadows. Most of you have spent years trying to change effects while leaving the cause untouched. But when you declare, I am the power, you go straight to the cause, your own consciousness.
You see, these 4 words contain within them the secret of all creation. When you truly embody them, you understand that everything in your world is simply your consciousness pushed out.
Think about this. Every time you blame external conditions for your state, you're denying these 4 words. You're giving away your creative power to shadows. Let me share with you what happens when this consciousness becomes natural to you. You stop asking, how will this happen? Because you understand that the power that knows the way will make the way. Most of you sit here thinking about what's possible and what's impossible. But I tell you this, possibility and impossibility exist only in consciousness. When you know I am the power, all things become possible. Consider this. Every limitation in your life right now exists only because you've accepted it in consciousness. When you truly embody these 4 words, all limitations dissolve. Let me share with you something profound about these 4 words that will forever change how you view manifestation. When you declare, I am the power, you're not just speaking words. You're awakening to your true identity. You see, most people spend their lives seeking power through achievement, through accumulation, through recognition. But I tell you this, all seeking ends when you realize that you are what you've been seeking. Consider what happens when you truly grasp these words. You stop looking for signs, you stop waiting for permission, you stop seeking approval, because when you know I am the power, what else could you possibly need? Let me tell you about the shift that occurs in your relationships when you embody these words. You no longer need others to complete you, to validate you, to empower you. You become complete within yourself, and paradoxically, this completeness attracts more fulfilling relationships. Most of you have been taught that power comes from doing. But when you declare, I'm the power, you understand that power comes from being. Your doing then flows naturally from your being. You see, these 4 words revolutionize your entire approach to manifestation. You stop trying to make things happen and start allowing them to unfold from your consciousness. Think about this. Every time you say, I'll try or I hope, you're actually denying your power. You're placing the fulfillment of your desires in some uncertain future. Let me share with you what happens. When you maintain this consciousness consistently, your entire world must reshape itself to reflect this new self-concept. This is not magic, this is law. Most of you sit here tonight thinking about what you need to do to manifest your desires. But I tell you this, manifestation is not about doing, it's about being. When you know I am the power, the doing takes care of itself. Consider this. Every great achievement in history began with someone knowing their power. They didn't wait for conditions to be perfect. They understood that conditions respond to consciousness, you see. Most people spend their lives in reaction mode, responding to circumstances, adapting to conditions. But I tell you this, when you know I am the power, you create circumstances, you determine conditions. Consider what happens when you approach each moment from this consciousness. You no longer see problems as obstacles, you see them as opportunities to demonstrate your creative power. Let me tell you about the transformation that occurs in your financial world when you embody these words. Money ceases to be something you chase and become something you attract through your consciousness of abundance. Most of you have been programmed to believe that success requires struggle. But when you declare, I am the power, you understand that success is simply the natural expression of your consciousness. You see, these 4 words completely transform your relationship with time. When you truly know I am the power, you cease postponing your good to some future date. Think about this. Every time you say, when I have this, then I'll be powerful, you're denying your present power. You're placing your power in external conditions. Let me share with you what happens when this consciousness becomes your natural state. Your entire experience of reality shifts. What seemed impossible becomes inevitable. Most of you sit here tonight thinking about your past failures, your present limitations, your future uncertainties. But I tell you this, all these are merely shadows cast by a consciousness that has forgotten its power. Consider this. Every moment of your life, you're either expressing power or expressing limitation. There's no middle ground. When you truly grasp these 4 words, you cease giving power to anything external. Let me share with you the final and most crucial understanding about these 4 words. When you declare I am the power, you are making the ultimate declaration of independence from all external influences. You see, tonight marks a turning point in your life. From this moment forward, you will never again see yourself as powerless. You will never again give your power away to circumstances, to other people, or to past experiences. Consider this moment right now. As you sit here absorbing these words, you have a choice. You can continue living as you have been, seeing power as something outside yourself, or you can claim your true identity by knowing I am the power. Let me tell you what your world will look like when you fully embody these words. Everything that once seemed like an obstacle will become a stepping stone. Every challenge will become an opportunity to demonstrate your creative power. Most of you came here tonight seeking answers. But I tell you this, the only answer you need is already within you. It is the knowing, the absolute conviction that I am the power. You see, these 4 words are not just a technique or a method. They are a complete revolution in consciousness. When you truly embody them, your entire world must transform. Think about tomorrow morning when you wake up. Will you rise as the same person who came here tonight? Or will you rise knowing I am the power, ready to create your day consciously? Let me share with you this final truth. There's no power outside of you. There never was and there never will be. All power resides in consciousness, and you are that consciousness. From this moment forward, let every breath you take be a reminder that I am the power. Let every heartbeat affirm this truth. Let every step you take be from this consciousness. Remember, you are not becoming powerful. You are simply recognizing what has always been true. You are the power that creates worlds. You are the power that moves mountains. You are the power that transforms lives. Tonight, make this sacred commitment to yourself. Promise that you will never again deny your power. Promise that you will never again give your power away. Promise that you will live every moment from the consciousness that I am the power. For this promise lies your freedom. In this recognition lies your transformation. In this knowing lies everything you have ever desired. Go forth now, not as seekers, but as knowers, not as hopeful dreamers, but as conscious creators, not as victims of circumstances, but as masters. For when you know, truly know, I am the power, nothing in this world can stand against you. Nothing can deny you. Nothing can limit you. This is your moment. This is your time. This is your power. Now rise up and claim it. Rise up and live it. Rise up and be it. For you are the power. You have always been the power. And you will always be the power. Let this be your final understanding, your ultimate truth, your eternal knowing. I am the power. And so it is.